Welcome back to the Real Meets Real podcast. Today, we have the guest Khali, Burntstar Khali. He has an album upcoming, and we just want to get a quick interview with him to see where he's at with that process. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
Hey everyone, so this is Burntstar Khali. If you know me personally, you may know me as Khali. It actually seems like some people that know me personally still want to call me Burntstar, so I guess something's working, but no. So I'm very happy to be here with Mufar today for this podcast. I feel like the whole idea of my upcoming project and sort of what my music stands on really aligns with the values that he has, and I'm excited to talk about it a little bit, have this conversation.
Yeah, so I've known Khali for about 2 to 3 years now, and I've really seen him grow as an artist, grow as a person in these 3 years. So let's start off with talking about the upcoming album. I know earlier this week, if people follow you on Instagram or on social media, they noticed that you're doing a little stuff with your heart and you're ripping it out. So can you talk about the meaning of that and how it connects with your album?
Oh man, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for noticing my growth, bro. The album, or really it's an EP, but honestly, those terms don't even fit the type of project that this really is. So when I say Starheart, and just to be clear for everyone, Starheart is gonna be a project dropping on all platforms Friday the 18th. So that's this week actually. So when I say Starheart, a lot of things might come to mind, and when you see the art, you'll see the official art, you'll see that it's actually a play off of the brand Carhartt. As far as you'll see me on the cover wearing a Carhartt jacket, but the patch has actually been replaced to say Starheart. But so the dual meaning of it and the idea behind the concept photo shoot and the other things we have going on is that there's really no way to say this besides I am literally ripping my heart out of my chest, tearing it open, and putting it on display. So that's what the music is. And so the thing is, everyone's heard of wearing your heart on your sleeve, but in times like this, that's not enough, right? What the world is lacking right now with everything going on is compassion, and I think that what's missing is just having those heart-to-heart conversations like we're doing now and opening up and being that vulnerable in that space and embodying the right energy to move forward. So I feel like Starheart is essentially just me being an emotional martyr and saying, look, I'm gonna literally rip my heart out my chest. You're gonna look at it, right? And like we'll go from there.
Honestly, breaking that down made it make sense because I didn't even make the connection between Starheart and the brand Carhartt. Even though I'm like not 100% familiar with it, I know the brand. I know the logo's like the swirl.
Yeah.
But, now that you explained it, makes it much clearer what you're trying to do with the heart. And I guess what I've noticed in my time, even at school, even before school, like online, everywhere, people often have a lot of opinions on things. And opinions can only go so far until you start taking action. And what you say, ripping your heart out and making it, everyone see the sacrifices you're making or being emotionally connected with other people to actually makes change instead of just saying things or posting certain things to get stuff done or to get a reaction out of people.
Definitely, bro. And I think, with you saying that of course reminds me about all the protests going on with people losing their lives. And that definitely was a part of the creative process for this project. So it does all come together. You hear on songs like Flaw, I'm saying things like, we taking drugs to get lost, look in your eye and I know that you're flaw. So many lives getting lost, never get lost in political talk. Never had love for the law, tell me what to do and tell me what I've done. I might just ring the alarm, we jump in the gates and we kicking in doors. You feel me? Because like, it's real emotions, real experiences. Like people that had never even so much as left their house for more than 3 hours a day were out there on the front lines protesting. You feel me? We knew people, we knew Naoli get arrested. You feel me?
Yeah.
He became like a whole, Instagram sensation for showing how, really the injustice going on. But I'm not gonna dwell too deep into it, but you feel me? Those are real experiences and those affect me as an artist and me as a person. So that all sort of blends into what I approach with it. And then another thing that we did was, did you see, well, I don't know, like there's another song called When Venus and Mars Collide.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that. I had some
Oh
questions
yeah,
about it.
great. Like, go ahead.
I was gonna ask that song "When Venus and Mars Collide" for a person like me who's like out of touch with, I don't know, that stuff like astronomy and stuff like that. I think it's astronomy or astrology. What does that mean? Like the title, and you flip the song on, and it's just talking about. I don't know who did the visuals on it, but it's just like such a visual that I guess moves people, and the music in the background it just creates a sensation when you watch it.
Yo, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So all the credit for the video really goes out to Alex Nabwe.
Hmm.
He's also a University of Maryland student. You know him through CSS, but shout out to Alex and Visuals. You feel me? He does his thing. So we sort of came together for the concept, and he's someone that I bounce a lot of creative ideas off of, vice versa. And I sent him the song and I told him, yo, I want to like do something about the protest, because the crazy thing is, and I'll tell you the story, is that song I really
Hmm.
actually had recorded it a few days before George Floyd passed away.
Hmm.
So it was like sort of in the wake of Ahmaud Arbery, rest in peace to both of them. And it was just like I heard the beat was produced by Connor Andres, another UMD student, and I heard it and I'm listening to it, and it just took me to this place where, and once I started like freestyling recording, it took me to this place where I had so much emotion to speak to everything that honestly wasn't even going on yet. It was kind of like a clairvoyant situation. Um,
Yeah.
and some people might pick up on that, but sometimes you can just feel the energies building up. And so it wasn't something I was conscious of, but as the protest started unfolding about a week and a half later from me recording the song, I was like, oh man, like I gotta like put this out, and like hopefully this can leave some type of positive impact. So it just made sense to sort of do the video. So if you do check out the visual we did for it, we just used a lot of film and pictures that sort of captured the emotions of the protest going on.
Hmm.
And I'm thankful that for the some people that did check it out, I had a friend tell me that he shed a tear watching it. So things
Hmm.
like that are what keep me going, and that's really all the energy that's getting built up into this project also.
Is that
Does
song going
that
to be on the project?
Yeah, the songs on the project, it's like the sixth song. But then like, the thing about these, like the thing about what I'm telling you is, it may be the sixth song on the project,
Hmm.
and it may be familiar to say there's 8 songs, but these really aren't even songs, right? These are literally like cut from the very fabric of my heart. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm like the project is me quilting together, woving together a quilt for someone to put on and feel, and feel all those energies. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from the whole world combining together in that moment. So the whole idea is like, yes, I'm the one opening up, but I'm opening up the world to what's already going on in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just kind of a vehicle. But yeah, so
Hmm.
we can call them songs. We can tell you, yeah, when Venus and Mars collide, check out that 6th song on the album. But it's really like, make sure you get cozy when you put that quilt on.
Yeah. I heard you talk about your creative process. You said you had to record this song, and then you reached out to Alex, and you said I didn't catch his name, but another UMD student
Yep,
produced the beat. Um, I know a
Connor
lot of people.
Andres. Let me
Connor
let me.
Andres.
Yeah,
All right.
shouts out to
So
Connor.
a lot of people I know they have messages they want to share, right? But they don't have, I guess, a good creative process. So they just hold on to these messages and have nowhere to share them. I was like that for a while, but I eventually found a way for me to, I guess, share what I do. So what? How did you build your creative process? Was it relationships before, or did you seek out these people and then found out they had these creative talents?
Yeah, I think so. What I'll say about that is, to anyone that listens to this, if you're a friend of mine, my family, anyone that supports me, I consider my family. For you, I'll define it like this: the word creativity should be defined as to believe in your own ideas, right? To believe in the ability of your ideas to come to reality. So we all as individuals are born with an ability to create. So unfortunately, the way that the world is set up, you may go through different experiences where you don't believe in the possibility that someone that looks like me could do this, or someone that comes from this place could do this. But you have to throw that out the window, honestly. You have to throw that out the window. And the only way you get there is really just by like, first you get right with yourself in your mind and you say, you know what, I'm not afraid to make a mistake. But then when you do like start making those relationships and connections, you just have to be as genuine as possible. And like people relegate to real energy. Like I think you said the podcast Real Meets Real, right? Like,
yeah,
I mean, that's what it's about. Like these types of moments, and like for you to express yourself through this, like I'm sure you had to overcome similar challenges.
yeah. I caught myself a lot of times. I guess not really. I've recorded so much episodes that I never put out because I felt personally that I don't know, I was sharing a bit too much about myself that people might not find interesting. And I wasn't being, the episodes I did put out, I was proud of because they were easily relatable. But I think what
Yeah.
you say with having creativity and having, I guess, trusting yourself and your work that you put out, that people will be interested to look at it. That really, I don't know, that really goes through the process I took. And I made a switch about a year ago in August.
Okay.
I switched from doing podcasts to making Instagram posts because I felt like my messages that I was giving in podcasts could be broken down much more simpler and something that I'm more relatable with short form, just quick stuff to say. And if someone wants to dive deeper, they can either go to my blog website or read the comments on the Instagram post. And I found a lot more people identify with what I say there than what I do with podcasts. Because I was recording like 30-minute podcasts and I didn't really have, I don't know, much focus throughout those periods. So
Okay.
it was like I'll release one week, wait 4 weeks, then release another one. But with the Instagram posts, if I really wanted to, I don't know what's holding me back. It's probably it's probably myself. But if I really wanted to, I could post probably 3 times a week and be consistent with it. But
but I mean, yo, like you do a lot. And like,
yeah.
you know, for the people that don't know, like Mufaro literally mentored me my whole first and even like some into my second year as far as the University of Maryland through like this great program we're in called College Success Scholars. So like Mufaro is out here like killing internships, like you feel me, developing software and stuff. Like we don't know like what type of genius he is, but then he still has his creative side. So I think like as far as what you're saying, I definitely feel that, bro, because you do have to go through that process. Like, you know, I may have 30 songs out, but that doesn't tell you the story of the 200 that I recorded that never went anywhere in my bedroom. You know what I mean? Because like it's definitely a process. It's definitely a process.
Okay, so earlier in the podcast, you were talking about how you see yourself as a vessel, that you say your real experiences in your songs and you give that to people. Do you ever feel like as you get deeper in your music career, however long you want to take it, I know you don't want to call it songs or music, but do you ever feel like that vessel will run out of gas? Or I don't know, with what I see is that a lot of times as people grow up into different positions, get into different places of their life, they lose a little bit of that realness. And what would you say to that?
Well, I mean, to be frank, I feel like I'm chosen. But no, I'm not even gonna go down that whole route. But but no. So look, I just feel like the way life is, bro, is that life doesn't end until it ends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, like even though you may end up taking a different route, like you know, Khali may not always be Burntstar Khali if we're gonna be honest, but you know what Burntstar Khali does is transmute that energy, is like take a whirlwind of elements and form it into a new piece, a new thing to be shared. And so I think that as long as those elements are in circulation, there'll never really be a shortage of ideas. Or, you know, of course you may go through phases, like of course I've gone through phases where I may go a couple weeks and I feel like I don't even want to look at a microphone. You know what I mean? Because
I've been there.
Yep. So those moments are actually when you're just living. You know what I mean? You're just taking enough in so that the next time you do go, stuff just flows. So then, you know, when I think about my future, I want to do music as long as I can and as long as the spark is there. Right now the spark is going crazy, so I just try to do the best I can. But as far as, you know, 10, 15 years down the line, Burntstar Khali is really a vehicle for Khali Williams' vehicles. I mean, for Khali, let me say that again.
Yeah,
Burntstar Khali is really a vehicle for Khali Williams' ideas to impact the world. You know what I mean? Because I think
yeah,
everyone here, we want to leave a positive impact, and I'm definitely no different than that. So I feel like I want to touch and dwell into different industries as far as mental health awareness, as far as filmmaking, podcasts, things like this. There's, I have other passions outside of music. It's just that I feel like music is what I'm pretty apt at right now and what is very fun.
100%. And it's familiar to you because even before I met you at College Park, even before we first interacted, I knew you did music. It's stuff like that that I think I talk about a little bit with people, or if I post it, I say when people find something that's familiar with them and they're able to be real with them with themselves, it's like once you understand that, you're able to branch off into different areas with it.
For
Um,
sure.
so you touched on something I didn't actually know about you. I never knew like you wanted to go into like filmmaking and stuff. And I don't know, when I met you, I always thought like what you say and how you share your ideas, like it could really become a movie or something like that. Not even a movie like to watch, but something people can learn from for a long time. And it's not just, I don't know, when you're done making music or when you're done with sharing what Burntstar Khali is meant for, that it's like no one's going to pay attention. I feel like what you say holds a lot of meaning, and just the energy you have when you speak, people obviously listen, and I feel like something that's with you. But
Yo,
do you
I'll
also
I'll
feel that
cut.
way?
Oh no, say that again.
Do you also feel that way? Like
Yo,
when
I
you
mean, first I just gotta say thank you, bro. I mean, that really touches me, honestly. But I think, do I feel that way?
Mhm.
I can't honestly say. I mean, I do think that my ideas have value. I feel like um I'm going to do great things. I feel like all that, yeah, is true, but the main reason that any of these ideas leave my mouth is the belief that, hopefully it can uplift someone else. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or it can help someone look at their problems differently. You know what I mean? Or find a new solution that they had, or trust that trust themselves to move that chess piece that they've been overthinking for 2 and 3 months. They don't know whether they want to move it. Hopefully what I say, even though I won't say, yo, move that piece, you'll be like, oh man, I gotta move that piece.
Yeah.
So that's sort of like how I approach life. And then the other thing is, bro, I look at every situation, every conversation like there's some wisdom for me to learn from the other person I'm interacting with. There's a lesson to be learned from everything you do on any given day. And so I think when you start with that belief, bro, you definitely like you accumulate other people's true selves, and it becomes a part of you. And from there, I think the sky is the limit for me, but it's really just I'm trying to take along all the people that have supported me so far. I want to take them to see the world with me. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah. With what you said at the end, close to there, when you said that even if you're helping someone or if you're learning from, you want to learn from them as well. I feel like with the College of Test Scholars program, I've learned from all the people I've met. I think I've had like 6 people I've been assigned a mentor. But really, what I say is I learn a lot more from them than I feel like I give them as a person. So I can like point you in the right direction how to get tutoring and this and that. But when I'm sitting down and you're sharing your experience with me and how you learned, it's just another chance for me to understand a different person's way of life.
Yeah. I mean, I think it goes both ways. I think it goes both ways with everything. Like, because, I may have the chance to talk to a rabbi. Like, for example, I have a mentor who's a rabbi, and
Hmm.
he may give me so much wisdom, but at the end of the conversation, he'll say something like, when I look in your eyes, I see so much strength and wisdom, and it doesn't feel like I'm talking to someone of your age. And then I'm taken aback because in my head, I'm like, yo, like, I feel like I just read a book from talking to this man for 5 minutes. But then he turns around and gives me that compliment. So
Yeah.
things like that make you really think, you know what I mean? Because if you're in that position of the rabbi, you want to be humble enough to learn from whoever. So I feel like everything sort of just goes in a circle, and like it's crazy the way society is set up to sort of feel like you have to jump through certain hoops to get to different places. But I feel like at the end of the day, bro, we really just manifest our lives, and the energy that we put out comes back to us in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, 100%. With the jumping through hoops, especially because I realize there's a lot of people with so much potential, and they obviously know what they want to do, but until you do it, I feel like until you, because some people, I know so much people like great ideas, but they hold back a little bit. They want to be more traditional and like take the, I guess, take a more standard route. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that. But personally, I like to take chances, and that's why I ended up when I had like an idea that I wanted to start that blog. I started it and I did like 2 to 3 articles on it. After that, I haven't really touched it, but I still feel like I'm attached to it somehow. That it still gets traffic somehow. I guess people click it through the links that are in my profile, but
Yeah,
I feel like once you put it out there, is the only time when you can really realize your potential and where you want to go.
definitely, bro. Like I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Like
Hmm.
because for you to put that out, you know, for one thing, it's affecting you. You're approaching situations differently. For another thing, it's affecting your friends. They're like, oh, look, Mufaro can do this, so maybe I can do, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that, like, what the thing about like karma or that idea of what goes around comes around is that you may put something out and expect one thing to come back, but
Hmm.
it actually comes back to you in a billion different ways. You know what I mean? And you're just thinking about this one thing, but you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing as far as like the whole star heart idea. Like if I cut
Hmm.
open my heart, I may want people to look at it and feel a certain way, but I don't know how people are gonna react to it. But it's just a learning experience for everyone involved. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah.
It was definitely a shock to me when I seen it. I'm like, what's going on? And then like you went into detail a little bit with it, but I never got the full understanding.
Yeah,
You
I've been keeping it vague on purpose, and then like when the pictures come out and the music comes out, I'm gonna try to explain it as much as I can.
got you. Do you want other people to, I guess, be like you with that being real and keeping their heart out and share what's in their heart with other people? Or do you feel like I personally I feel like that would make everything much easier, but obviously it's
Hmm.
hard to get everyone to be on that same wave.
Yeah,
How do
that's a really big idea. I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh, I was just gonna say, how do you think people can overcome being so locked up emotionally?
Hmm. Let me take some time to think about that, bro. So if I were to put myself in the shoes of someone who is, you know, trying to overcome that personal barrier, which I definitely have been in my life, but I'll try to put myself in those shoes. I think the difference is we all have a lot of inner work to do. And I think that sometimes we don't acknowledge that. I think
Hmm.
sometimes we cling on to the things we've been told, the things we've done, the things we've seen. But, you know, at the end of the day, you still have that moment in the present to change how you think about the past and change what the future will hold. So I think the way that that actually practically applies, like how can someone overcome that barrier, I think it just starts with being a part of your community. Like I feel like the world sort of has lost its sense of community, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because like if we were a community, you'd be my brother, your mother would be my aunt, you know what I mean? Like
100%.
but if I'm thinking about like a society or a country basis, I'm like, oh, like a fellow citizen, you know what I mean? But that loses the whole that loses the whole personal basis of it. So
Yeah.
I think if you can start with as an individual, just for one, you get right with yourself, and for two, you try to enable others around you to be very genuine and be very true, then people won't be so scared to open up. And like I wouldn't have to cut my heart open, but for right now, that's what we got.
I think there are still communities out there that do what you say, like they have that
Definitely, no, that's
community
true.
aspect. Do you feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking off my head, but do you feel like those communities are better off than where we're at now from a, I guess, emotional standpoint?
I mean,
They
bro,
know
when
how
you
to
look at
share with each other.
America, bro, when you look at America right now, you're like, yo, there's a lot that's not working.
It's
like
broken. It's
like
broken.
it's just not working. And like we could talk about that for a whole another hour and a half, but I think in short, it does come back to what we're missing is compassion. So I think, yeah, you know, as a country we could learn from close-knit communities, or as a country we may learn from different philosophies and traditions outside of the mainstream that sort of help you understand just how to day to day put out your best effort. Because when we look at our leaders, it's not looking like they're putting out their best effort every day. Realistically, it's not. So, and I think that sort of infects and permeates the culture in a lot of ways. So, it's hard to come up here and actually come up with your own stream of thought that's might have to run counter to the popular thought. But I think what's great about our young generation is that we really care. You know what I mean? Like, we really care about who is getting hurt. We care about who isn't getting the light shown on them. We care about how we feel before we go to bed. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we've done so much to address mental health that other generations haven't. So I do think the future is bright, and I do think that things can turn around. It's just we're in a tough time right now.
One thing I do hope is that that care on mental health and that care on people's emotions will continue with us even after we get through the time period we're going through now, when there is such a drastic disconnect between one group of people to a different group of people. I hope that those conversations still happen, because the second those conversations stop, I feel like people are going to go back to the way they were before, and I'm already starting to see a little bit of that now. But keeping those conversations going, which they still are, and keep making kindness and compassion not such a foreign concept for people, which will make it like,
take away that cliche.
All right, Khali, you really provided some good insight on the upcoming album. Can you remind us again when it's coming out, or upcoming EP? Sorry, can you remind us again when it's releasing?
So Starheart, the EP, is releasing on all platforms September 18th. Mark that on your calendars. Go ahead and go pre-save it. It's available for pre-save by the time this comes out. And just check it out and let me know what you think. I actually love to interact and talk with people about all the music and the ideas. And, you guys keep me going. So please check that out and continue to engage with everything Real Meets Real has going on, Mufaro's blog, as much as he gets it going. And, thank you. September 18th, Starheart.
Thank you, Khali.
For sure, bro.